Welcome to another exciting edition of Break Fake Rules. This is our little show at the Stupski Foundation where we focus on the fake rules of philanthropy that prevent us from getting social change. We bring on fake rule breakers. Typically, we bring them in from outside the Stupski Foundation, but today we're going deep into the institution, and we have found a couple of those rule breakers who work quietly in the corner just trying to find those fake rules and breaking them. And so today, please welcome to the show Malila Becton-Consuegra and Ari Datta, who are both in the program team at the Stupski Foundation. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here, Glenn.
Great. I'm so glad you're here. So why don't we start by just very quickly giving people a sense of what it is that you work on versus what it is that you do. We're going to get into what you do, but what do you work on at the Stupski Foundation? So let me start with you, Ari. What is your area of focus for the foundation?
Sure, Glenn. I work with the Food Justice Program here at Stupski, and I'm the Food Justice Program Manager.
And what does that mean? Does that mean that you're checking prices on groceries, or what exactly is a food justice manager?
It looks a little different. Yeah.
Does it?
So the Food Justice Program here at Stupski is working to support a vision of an equitable, sustainable, and just future for all of our communities here in Hawaii and the Bay Area. And what that means is we support everyone in the food system, from land stewards to farm workers to climate advocates, and yes, to those grocery stores as well.
So a small job. You don't have all that much to do every day.
Oh, it's a light lift.
Yeah, light lift. Malila, tell us a little bit about your area of focus for the foundation.
Yeah, so my area of focus is postsecondary success grant making. The focus is working to make grants to organizations that are doing things like work-based learning, helping with advising for first-gen students, low-income students, helping with retention, making sure students get jobs that pay living wages when they're finished. And then we'll get into it later, but there have been some fake rules that we've been breaking and expanding the grant making. So we're looking at also policy, civic engagement, youth power building, and some other cool things that I'll talk about later.
Great. And the part that you're not going to hear Malila say is that she is also the mind and power behind the launch of an amazing internship program that we've had here at the Stupski Foundation, through which we found Ari, which is just a crazy connection that we have here. On top of it, Malila is leading and launching a lot of work in reparations in California and nationally here at the foundation as well. And there's much more. But one of the big things, one of the reasons why we wanted to have the two of you on today is because some people may have seen, and we had recently a decision of our board to allocate an additional tranche of money to the foundation intended to be spent down over a few years. But some of the people in the foundation said we should move it now. And that is who you have on here today. So what I wanted to do is just give the two of you an opportunity to talk about this. This decision was featured in Inside Philanthropy and the Chronicle of Philanthropy. It took us from moving a quarter of our grant-making assets in this year, to 75% of our remaining grant-making assets. So it was a massive jump for the foundation and will likely speed up the rate of our spend down. So let me go to you, Malila. How hard a decision was that for you to make, given all the implications of the foundation possibly closing a little earlier, and all the other things that we try to hold on to when we work at foundations?
It was a no-brainer. I mean, when I came to Stupski, I started mapping out this plan to divide the money evenly year by year and make sure all grantees were supported annually through the end. And I remember my director, Jen, looking at my plan and saying, like, why are you doing it this way? And I think my answer was that I come from government and education, and that's how we used to do things. So once I got out of that mindset and started to look at grant making to meet the need, I knew that the money needed to get out immediately.
Ari, for you, how hard a decision was this to move from 25 to 75% of your grant making assets going out in this year?
I agree with Malila completely. It was an easy decision. And it was also easy because we had support from the entire foundation to do so. From the lens of food justice, the impacts of these policy changes since the new administration are devastating, they're dangerous. And when we look at who is most impacted, it includes immigrant communities, farmers, and essential workers. And the work of these folks are really the backbone of our food system. And we knew we needed to step in more now to support them. When the new administration took place, many of our grantees lost significant federal funding. When we look to Hawaii, the Department of Agriculture cut a grant for $30 million to our grantee partner, Hawaii Good Food Alliance. This grant was intended to support remote areas, regional food business centers, and that support is now gone. When we look to California, the Environmental Protection Agency cut a grant of $19 million to a collection of partners across Richmond, including Urban Tilth, one of our grantees. And that grant was intended to support climate resiliency. These are both examples of critical work that now has lost federal support. And so when we heard these stories and also saw calls from our partners, including specific open letters to philanthropy, calling foundations to step in, step up, and spend more, the only thing we could do is say yes.
Well, I mean, that's the only thing you could do. That's because that's who you are. Looking at a situation that we're now living with and have been for a few months, most recently, the executive orders, the cuts to federal contracts and otherwise, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg of this. I think we're looking at an extremely damaging 2026, if not earlier. Yet I'm seeing foundations not many of our peers aren't jumping at this right now. How did you see the situation? Why do you think you saw it differently? And then we'll move on to what could be helpful to others.
Sure, Glenn. So I think a primary fake rule that we broke to be able to do this is this idea that you have to adhere to your strategy. So that could be a 10-year strategic vision, a 5-year strategic plan, or even your annual budget and your strategy that comes alongside that. The strategy that we set forth, even in November of last year, shortly before the election, and that budget, we quickly realized the new year that needed updating. Strategies must be flexible. You cannot support community unless your strategy can move nimbly with community as their needs change. And so for food justice, you see that in the long arc of how the food program has adapted over time from a more traditional hunger portfolio that focused on pounds of food and number of people fed to the current framing we use of food justice, which is a lens that really looks to the root causes of hunger, which are upstream inequalities in our food system, and allow us to include more expansive support for areas like climate, labor, and land. And so as we look to accelerate funding, it required us to update our strategy once more to, yes, respond to the multitude of emergencies and the responses that come with that, but also to expand to support organizations who are really holding the line for these hard-fought wins that we still have protections. And that can look like advocacy organizations supporting immigration needs, and also media. And then as well, continuing our ongoing support for organizations working on multi-generational resilience needs. And that could look like multi-generational land rematriation or other forms of land stewardship.
Why was your reaction, we need to move and move now?
Well, it feels important to give more now so that communities are best equipped with more resources to act in this moment, but also plan for the long road ahead. If I were to take what we gave as a grant this year and divvy it up over the next 4 years, it wouldn't allow that partner to know what they're going to receive in the future and plan for that future. And this allows organizations to scenario plan for what we're experiencing this moment and for exactly what you're speaking to, Glenn, this idea that we all hold that it's likely going to get worse from here. in the years ahead? And how can we equip our partners and the communities we serve to best protect themselves for those years ahead? And that demands us to give more now.
And are you in that same position, Malila? Why was it your decision to move now and not wait for some other indicator down the road, if any?
Mm-hmm. So like Ari mentioned, so many grantees are losing funding, and there's still many that are finding out through secondary funding levels that they're also losing funding. So this is continuing to happen. But what let me know that this isn't business as usual is during grantee check-ins when I'd say, oh, how's the program going? How are the youth? How's the graduation? And they say things like, most of the families didn't show up to the graduation because they're worried about encountering ICE on the way there. Most of the children didn't come to the end of the program because they're afraid to come out in their neighborhoods. This means that things are really serious and it's time to act now. There's no way I could brush over it and continue asking them about their program metrics when I know that we need to act now to help defend immigrants.
And Ari made a point about strategy. Have you had to dramatically change your strategy in some way to accommodate the needs of your grantees versus your needs to keep to your strategy?
Yeah, this is the fake rule that I've also been breaking, which is the rule to stay in your lane. So when I started with Stupski, I was told that I was the post-secondary success program officer and that we had a few things that we were funding. And over time, I would talk to community leaders and they would say, well, we really need this. We love what you're doing and we also need this other thing. So that's when we started to stretch it and look at policy and advocacy and power building and reparations. And now we've made some grants around protecting immigrants. So being able to be responsive has been a really great gift because we're able to listen to what people want and need and support those things as well.
Thank you for tuning in to Break Fake Rules. Subscribe to the Stupski Foundation YouTube channel to watch videos of each episode and join the conversation with me on LinkedIn.